What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while since I posted a video. It's just because it's been crazy with this whole coronavirus or COVID-19 or whatever you want to call it. I've had a lot of days off work and been getting a lot of yard work done. For today's video, we're actually going to be picking up all the gaskets and everything that we need to put the Miata back together, and we're going to hope that our oil leak will be gone. I already picked up a valve cover gasket, and that's all that AutoZone had. So now we're on our way down to O'Reilly's here in Andover, and we're going to be picking up, we're going to see if they have the other gaskets that we need to put the car back together. I'm hoping replacing all these gaskets will hopefully fix that oil leak, but I don't know, and I won't know until I put the car back together. I got all of the motor pretty much clean, got all that old collected oil off of the motor, and now it's just time to put it back together. I think we're gonna also flush the coolant system, because when I took it apart there was a lot of sand or something in there, dirt, whatever, debris, foreign object debris, or FOD, and we're gonna be flushing that, trying to get a lot of that stuff out of there, and then we're gonna be putting it back together. And I am here at O'Reilly's, so I will see you when we get back to the garage. So we just got back from AutoZone and O'Reilly's, and the only gaskets I could find are the valve cover gasket, and neither AutoZone nor O'Reilly's had any of the other gaskets that I needed. So I picked up some gasket making material from O'Reilly's so I can make my own gaskets. I've done it before, but I don't know if it was this material, but we're gonna see how well this works. And we also got ordered the other gaskets that we need, the intake manifold gaskets, and there's 2 of those, and then there's the oil cooler gasket, which goes inside the oil filter. I think it goes inside the oil filter, where the oil filter screws in. We ordered one of those, so we're gonna put back together what we can today. Got a lot of work to do. Got the alternator to put back on, and we got the intake manifold. I still gotta clean it out. We gotta put this valve cover gasket on. We're gonna use some sealer to put that on, and I'm just gonna get started because got a lot to do. we got our sealer on here. I had to use a spreader tool because I didn't have a nozzle. And I also found there's a orange rubber gasket that goes inside behind where the oil filter screws in. This is the oil cooler. There's coolant that runs through this line. Oh, shit. The coolant runs through this line into here and then goes around the oil filter and comes back out this way. So this part is the oil cooler, and it was leaking from the bottom where the rubber gasket goes in there. The old gasket was like completely compacted, didn't feel like it was doing anything. It's a rubber gasket that goes in there. So when I went to O'Reilly's today, I had them order a new one of these. So pretty sure that's gonna fix our problem. I hope, pretty sure. And then this thing should be running a little bit better. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put our valve cover on and get that sealed up. So it's the next day here, and I just picked up our oil cooler O-ring, and you can tell just by looking at them that this one is very thin, probably very old, and this one way thicker. So hopefully that solves this problem and I can get this thing back together as soon as possible and go have some fun in it. But I'm gonna get started doing what I gotta do. I think considering what this thing looked like before, it is pretty dang clean now. I mean, this whole thing right here was just caked in oil, and now it looks pretty clean. So hopefully with our new oil cooler gasket, and we're going to, I ordered the gaskets for these. None of the auto parts store had any, so I gotta wait till next week for that. And we got our new valve cover gasket, and I'm hoping that's gonna solve the problem. If not, we'll just lose some money. So when we took out our interior and we pulled out the AC and the heater components and the fan and all that, we're gonna have to take these lines right here. These two lines went into the heater, and this one is to the heater and this is the return. So I'm going to take and cut a section off our old pipe here, and we're gonna just splice it in there, and that will solve that problem. I don't think we have to worry about the coolant or the refrigerant system at all, because it's like completely gone. So but the heater has these coolant lines that run through it, so we have to splice those. That'll be the first step before we start putting the radiator back on and the rest of this stuff. I'm actually cleaning the intake manifold right now, so once that's clean and dried out, I'm gonna start putting this all back together. I really need to get a shop manual because right now I am just putting this thing back together by memory and pictures that I had. So hopefully, I was using Google too, like everybody does. We got our splice in there. It's the piece that I cut off of the heater. And I would have just ran the tube from where it comes out around and back over to here, but this hose is too long and it gets kinked when you turn it around. So I had to go with the splice, and we have no kinks, so it should be good until one of these clamps fails and it pops off of there. All right, so I'm gonna have to cut this video short because I kind of came to a roadblock. I was putting back on the oil pressure line right here that goes down and it runs into the oil pressure sending unit, and there's a bolt that holds that on down there. It's called a banjo bolt. Well, somehow I misplaced it, and I don't know how, because I usually screw everything back into the holes to where they go, and for some reason that one did not make it back in its hole and it is missing. So before I put on my intake manifold, I want to get that bolt back in there. And that bolt I'm gonna have to special order online because the dealership in town doesn't have one. AutoZone, O'Reilly's, nobody has one that'll work, and that bolt has copper washers on it too. So I can't go any further until I get that bolt. So that's gonna be it for today's videos. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Really help me out, and stay tuned for the next video. Peace.